Daidalos has started. So let's do a little bit of preview of what's been happening or what's. I know that as far as I know, Weightlifting House is the only media company that does coverage. I don't know if Hooker does. Let's double check that. Hope y'all are doing wonderful. So let's start with that. I'm going to be eating while we're watching together. So hopefully I finish it by that time the video is over. They really did a good job this year of doing all this labeling. Props to them for the editing.
Все наоборот. Надо работать, тягу. Последний сантиметр, терпи на сутки, вытаскивай. Вытаскивай, не тянешь.
How you doing, Nigel? Just watching a little bit of Weightlifting House. Eating lunch, actually.
Еще можешь со стопы, не. Торопись грудь. Торопись, руки.
Likewise. Are you still training? What the hell was that? That's ridiculous. Offsetted, like, offset walks, arches. Yeah, so I wanted to start doing this because I wanted to help grow the sport in my own different way, and I noticed that nobody on Twitch was, you know, making weightlifting content pretty consistently. So that's kind of why I wanted to start doing this. And I appreciate it. Please share with everybody that you know who likes weightlifting. Well, there's no better way than snatch clean jerk, really, is there? Nigel, do you follow programming?
Разгоняй повыше. Мощно.
Oh, that's a smart move. That's a very smart move. Those programs are very easy to recycle over and over again and still keep things strong. Well, it also depends because some of the older stuff from like Dom. I don't know if you know Dom. 220 in the training hall is pretty crazy. Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. If he's 102, the equivalent would be a 105 in the old numbers. Yeah, he's got the oldest 105. Jesus Christ, that was easy. Nobody has the Olympic standard, huh? Of course Rosalind has the fucking 105 at 237. That's ridiculous. Alright. What did he post anything good? That's 4 years ago. Anything newer? No. Nothing that new. Alright, let's go back to weightlifting.
Hello and welcome to the final A session.
No, Seb, I don't want to talk to you right now. A new 270, that's interesting. World record. This one's new. Gotta love. Did you ever see videos of Clarence and Sika strength in Japan and South Korea? Yeah, that's an old video, isn't it? I want to say that's a good, It's like, wasn't it right after COVID? No, that had to be before COVID, huh? That had to be like 2018, 2019, right? Oh, that's new. Well, see, the thing is that I'm not a big Clarence fan, so I don't really follow Clarence. I try not to showcase people who are confirmed to do drug use.
So Alexei Churkin in the corner there is a really exciting lifter.
I don't promote them either.
We saw him in Colombia as a 73. He's now bumped up to 81.
Yeah.
And he could be one of the lifters.
I think I saw that video.
Over 200 kilos in competition, along with Rahmat, obviously, and Ri Chung Som from North Korea. Should see a lot of plus 200 kilos clean jerks in the 81s, which will be good.
I was fortunate enough to meet the national coach, South Korean national coach in 2017. Excuse me, I think it was 2017. Excuse me. Oh, there's
Okay, so another battle that we should talk about.
That's the coach right there in the black.
At 73. We've got Bok Juyo, who's behind us right now. And then we've got Lee Sang-yong, who obviously is a super famous weightlifter.
I don't know if he's super famous.
Obviously, they've been battling a little bit over the last year because Lee Sang moved up to 73 to challenge Bach to see if he could get the Olympic slot. He wasn't able to do it, but he did get pretty good.
He was small too. I think he was a 67 at one point.
Bach Ju-yo then went to the Olympics. Lee Sang had to sit out at home, but kept competing nationally. And he
2017 Anaheim, yes.
Records at 73. So in terms of who's lifted the most on an international platform, it's now Lee Sang, but Bach Ju-yo is kind of the international leader of the two.
Hey! Let's go!
Both looking strong, both competing in the men's 73s. It's getting exciting. It's heating up here in hot Bahrain.
That was such a cool experience. I hope that I can. Ooh, that's a great hat. I want that North Korean hat. That was a great experience. I hope I can recreate that experience in over in 2028 when the Olympics comes here.
Team North Korea, the #1 team in the world right now. Sorry to all the people who love Team China, but it's just not anymore. I'm going to sort of keep my eye on a few athletes, and I think a few people that you need to be considering. We've got Ri Chong-sung, 81, who of course has hit 209, equaled the clean and jerk world record before. He's almost made the 210 multiple times. He's gunning for this competition. We've got Song Kuk-yang, the 71, she's now 76, who tried to defeat Olivia, was unable to in Thailand, but still holds obviously the clean and jerk world record at 154. She's got to do something big because, you know, the North Korean team like left her alone in the back room after she lost to an American. It was brutal. It was really sad to watch. The 67, whose name I'm blanking.
Dishonor to your family
189,
and dishonor to your cow. Dishonor to
they've come out in full force. They've brought some new people. The squad's insane. So we're gonna do some filming of them right now.
You know, I wondered that too, but then at the same time, North Korea does have a huge black market, so I wouldn't be surprised. You know, it's not surprising that they were able to get it, but I mean, but you do, Nigel. I don't know if you. Ooh, what's going on in the background? I have something going on in the background. I don't know if you know about do you know about the North Korean private school in Japan? I believe it's in Tokyo, and it's a state sponsorship. It's a state sponsored North Korean school in, I believe, Tokyo. There was a huge uprising, or not uprising, but protest against it not too long ago. Because there's some shady shit that happens between the Japanese government and the North Korean government. Surprise. They're wearing hook grip though, that's surprising. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have something going on between those two. Through all the human trafficking that North Korea does. Human trafficking, and then there's also the what's the other thing that they do? Is it they have like a labor camp in like Indonesia or something like that? Or India? So I know of one that is in Tokyo, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's more. Oh, he got a fucked up knee. I've always wanted to go to Bahrain.
Okay, so Team China just walked in, and it's an enormous team. Obviously, a lot of it is actually their kind of elite junior team, plus some of the elite seniors. So we've got Li Yan, who we've spoken a lot about recently. She's a super heavyweight. We've seen her do the 140, 170-ish kind of range. We've got some, some old timers, Lao Guifang, Pei Jinyi.
Oh, see, I love that kind of shadiness.
We've been seeing them for the last 2 years. Some of the top lifters in the world, both world champions. And then as we make our way down, we've got loads more exciting lifters, including Hanyan Hua, who you can see over here. He's being stood on right now.
There's also a very interesting podcast called Hidden Brain on NPR. They did a segment. They did a segment about people who travel without passports. People who travel internationally without passport because of how rich they are.
Now, he's a guy who everybody's saying is the new Tian Tao, or saying is like Tian Tao's brother. But yeah, it's going to be fun seeing what kind of shape these new Chinese lifters are in. The new crop of talent.
We would win. Looks like a baby. Looks like he still has baby fat on him. What an amazing lifter. Good Lord. How many kilos is that? It's 120... 60, 90, 10, 260, 260, 270, 285, 285. So today is day 2. Actually, let's look at see what if IWF posted anything. Results by event. Results by event. $55, $61's gone. Don't recognize any of these names. That's a monster snatch, though. 121. This guy must have got hurt. That's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 athletes. That's a big A session. And he must have. See what the girls did. 45. Oh yeah, good for her. Good job, Cecily. Top 5 at Worlds. Philippines are coming up. Look at that shit. So we got 2 sessions. We got 2 sessions in each sport, or each weight class. Or gender, I should say. What happened to the Korean guy? He bombed. Damn, 161? Oh, that's clean jerk, never mind. See what the women did. That would have put her on. That would have put her 4th in clean and jerk. Yeah, that would have put her 4th. She was in medal contention easily. A little lacking on the 113. That's a 45. That's gnarly. Damn, this must have been fun to watch right here. You almost had a 3-way battle. Wow, she just coming above everybody else. That's fucking gnarly. Wow. Gotta love these ad blockers, baby. Woohoo!
Best difference.
I'm just saying.
How are you? Good?
Do you know what's nice? Is if you just search on Uber, IWF 2024, it comes up. I don't know how they did it, but they got it on Uber.
Team Mexico.
My goal, I think, is to get back in shape with my PRs. I have an injury on my back, so it was like a slow process. Thank God I'm back, so I wanted to improve myself into this competition. So yeah, I'm looking that. It was kind of hard because it was a big, like a quad of Olympics, but I think I'm more motivating. I know what's coming.
Easy. For double? 105 for double.
I know all the competitors, and I think that's kind of a big help to know what I'm gonna do. So I think, yeah. we were walking a lot in Istanbul in the airport that we do like a 12 hours.
It's grown so
or
much.
15 hours, I don't remember. And it was kind of tired, yeah, on my legs.
I think like CrossFit was great. I mean, I kind of came through weightlifting through CrossFit too, but yeah, I think it's opened up the field a lot more, and you know, especially with a lot of
years. I started when I have 14 years old in Cuba, and I want to represent the UK in 2028 because the political in my country, I'm not happy with the political in there, and I come into the UK and I apply for the asylum there. It's because my mom died before I come in here, and I promise my mom if I want to do something, I do it better. I've been to the Olympic game and do it very nice there. Everything I do now is thinking in the future for me, for her.
I would say that I think one of the cool things about weightlifting as it grew is the fact that now that we see so many different countries and the field has opened up a lot more, you can see how certain teams really orient to push each other now. And we don't have, it's not just China and Russia winning everything, which makes it a lot more interesting.
Need training more, need focus more, you know. Now I drop down for 96 because the situation in the UK is different. I need working, and the same time I need looking after my family, and the same time I need training, you know, and I don't have like gym. I train in the commercial gym, and it's so difficult. I need pay my physio, I need pay my food, I need pay everything, you know. And it's that when you athlete and you get that level, you need like some people like help you, you know, like a massage or something like that, and I don't have that. I thinking is I get a little bit more support, thinking for 2028 I can say I'm top 5. I pay everything from my pocket, massage, physio, when I get the injury I pay everything. I go to the gym in the bike. But for competing international, you need more focus, you need like maybe 2 sections, 3 times a week, you know, and I don't have that. I only have 1 section and go and working 8 hours, you know, and I said the next day you need to recuperate and train again, you know. I coming from Cuba, my life is not easy. You know, I have all my life that situation. Like,
I don't know if he's peaked, but I can definitely say that with confidence that him having all those injuries is starting to definitely take a toll. So I don't know how much more of stress his body would be able to take.
Sometimes I go to bed and I don't have food. When I live in...
But after that, actually, I don't know if you watched the video of Lasha, and I could play it after this, is that they did a little video about Lasha too.
Cuba, my house, the floor is the stone, you know? Like, and I working hard all my life. But it's now, I am in the UK, they have the condition, if they can like help me, that's motivate me more, you know? I can say I'm very, very disciplined, you know, like, you telling me 8 o'clock there, I'm there, training, I'm tired, no worry, I go and train, and you know, I say for me, I put 100%. It's only waiting for some people like help a little bit more. And yeah, that's in my green, represent UK 2028.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's cool, isn't it? Is this the warm-ups now? Back room, yeah. So every platform's got like a...
Oh, this is great. This is like Yerevan.
Yeah.
Bulgaria too.
Cool.
I'm liking the like sort of
sectioned off things a little bit.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice because it kind of puts everyone in their own little space. I knew it was going to be good, but this is better than I expected.
This feels like Yerevan 23 and a little bit like Sofia in 24.
Yeah. This is a little bit of the back and forth, seeing lifters looking at each other.
Yeah, they don't see each other.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
But this is beautiful.
Yeah,
Wow.
cool.
They've done it.
Well, what do you think about all the protests that was happening because of the Olympics?
Yeah, it's
I'm
good.
I'm curious about your opinion about that.
Motherfucker, I've been mortified, 45, feeling like a Mordecai. I ain't regular, feel like Jordan wearing 45. Hypnotized, victimized, seen some of my niggas die. Knock you off a base with a bat when them niggas slide. Homicide, genocide, televised, emphasize, perpetuating war to that nigga.
That oil money does amazing things. Like, Jesus Christ. America would never be able to create a production value like this.
This is like a good sort of...
It's a good intimate size.
Yes, yeah, that's the way to describe it.
I was really concerned it was going to be flat seating, which they, like in Thailand. The tea had helped. It's not enormous, but it's like probably maybe 2,000 people.
This is really good.
Yeah.
Where are we at over there? They have to put the refs in those little cages as boxes because sometimes they get out of control and the refs, you know, they have a handler behind them, a little cattle prod. Keeps them, making sure they give enough red lights.
So this table, this is where we'll set up all of the commentary stuff. I'll sit on the end there where that laptop currently is. Max will go here. Then we'll have a few screens where Dan will go just running the tech side of things. And then that will be our angle. You can see the platform behind me. And also there's a proper lighting rig which helps. Like sometimes they don't have proper lighting and it just ruins it. They're also going to test out augmented reality, like on the live feed, when the boom camera swings in, there'll be like images of like the athlete as like a card, I think, saying like their best lifts and stuff.
That'll be nice.
That would be sick.
They've done a good job.
You think they're gonna do pyrotechnics this time? That would be so good.
Go back in that way.
Yeah, you could probably have convinced them a few months back, just been like, hey, Isak, you've got to do some kind of fire, some kind of. When Gore comes out, Gore would be like, it'd be like crazy, like WWE style, just like shooting fire into the air.
What I would really like is if it opened at the back.
Oh yeah.
And then steam or smoke comes up, so you don't know who's coming out. And it's almost like when the Undertaker used to come out, and it's like people go, "Oh no, where is he?" In the middle of like a 67 category.
You know, but that's everything in politics, isn't it? Like, I know right now with South Korea right now, with everything that's been happening, and even little things like the 4B movement, people have been talking about how, you know, these are not only radical ideas, but also very, or radical movements, but also very small movements. And so people are getting, you know, a big speaking voice out of the media, despite the fact that it's not a majority opinion. Which is very common when it comes to sensational things, isn't it?
Or will just come out and take the lift.
They should just allow any lifter to come on stage whenever they want. So like, it'd be like the Ultimate Warrior. Like Gore's like sprinting from like 2 blocks away, like running, the camera's following, throws a metal chair onto the platform and jumps up.
And this is the kind of commentary that you can expect at Weightlifting House TV with me and Max. We won't actually talk about what's happening. We're talking about what we would like to see happening.
Yeah.
And that may or may not involve Gore sprinting 2 blocks with
Oh
an
my
iron
God,
chest.
he's got a chair. He's got a metal chair. What's he doing?
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out.
So we've got 2 of the best weightlifters in the world right now in the training hall from the same team. Rizky Junior's here and Rahmat. First time we've seen Rizky here in Bahrain. Well, he didn't train for 2 months after Paris. He's been training for 2 weeks and he's told me he's going to go heavy in the snatch. Got the opposite response from Rahmat. He told me he's going light again, but Rahmat tends to lie to the media.
I would lie all the time to the medias. Always wear the same thing over and over again when you're in public. Yeah, we're never gonna probably see Sean do another commentary though. Hey Tissue, we're just watching the preview stuff that Weightlifting House put out for Worlds. How you doing today? Was it hot up in the valley? Sean always did great commentary because he had so much good rapport between him and Baffa and JP Nicoletta when the three of them did the commentary for, I think the last time they did it was 2019 Worlds, which was Thailand. And everybody was saying, oh, this is great commentary. But from what I heard from Sean was that they can't do it because they can't do it anymore because of conflict of interest of some sorts. Dude, it's been fucking hot down here in the South Bay. Those are some nice straps though. How's training been going, Tissue? You hopped off Twitch the moment that I logged on to my computer. Chapow. Oof. Smooth. It's 90, 100, 10. Well, do you want to talk about it? I'm be very curious to hear what you've learned and what you're fine tuning.
Tracksuit bottoms.
I try tomorrow, okay?
Yeah. And then t-shirts, and then a jacket.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Oh, I want the Ducati jacket though, like key.
The Rizky shirt.
Bulldog.
Oh, that's so sick. Nigel, this one's for you.
Is the era of Lasha Talakadze over? And why is the Robu Nino beef heating up once more? On today's episode of the Weightlifting House News Show, we're going to take a look at two main headlines, break them down and make sure we understand exactly what's going on in the world of weightlifting. Before we get into it, head to weightliftinghouse.com for Black.
Not too complicated. My overall goal these days is to enjoy the session, so I don't like to program too much misery. I mean, yeah, I'm very much a keep it simple, stupid kind of programming anyways, you know. Sometimes the more simple the programming, the actually better and more effective it really becomes.
Friday, the biggest deals and sales of the year. It's products that are trusted by Olympic champions, world record holders, singlets in our bio below. So Lasha Talakadze faces a huge crossroads in his career. Is he going to continue on in weightlifting and go for the mythical 4th Olympic gold medal? Or is it going to be politics? Or is it...
Now that's a flat lie because that motherfucker, I mean, I shouldn't say that motherfucker. No disrespect to Sir Bob Takano, but he had some of the most complicated programming. I don't know if you got to see a lot of what he programs his actual weightlifters that compete. Yeah, but even then, he had some of the craziest complexes that I've ever seen.
Is it going to be both? I've had some conversations with people in and around Lasher. The 4th Olympic gold is very much in his mind still. There's been a lot of pressure from people within his team.
Yeah.
Vocally, that would be Kakikaki.
I have his whole calendar because of the fact that I watched.
He has been very vocal of Lasher continuing
library.
on. There's a lot of incentive. Lasher is very much motivated by this idea of GOAT status and is aware that he needs to do better than Pyrrhos Dimas in order to do that. Dimas, of course, got 3 Olympic gold medals and a silver. Lasher, if you gets 4, I think would be undisputed. Though really I believe that the battle for GOAT status is not with Dimas, it's with Naeem. Regardless, I think 4 golds would seal the deal for him.
But that's a different conversation, because if you think about what Dimas accomplished versus what Naeem accomplished, Naeem wasn't necessarily always as dominant, or he's been dominant, but his GOAT status comes from his Sinclair, which we don't really talk about as much anymore, unfortunately.
So let's break this Lasher story down into a few parts. The first part is that Lasher has withdrawn from Worlds. So this 3-time Olympic champion, the 109 plus world record holder and everything, has had a maybe somewhat unexpected exit from the 2024 World Championships in Bahrain, which has solidified this as a bit of a pivotal moment, I would say, in not just his career, of course, but in the world of weightlifting. We've been in the, you could call it the Georgian era, the Lash Talakadze era.
100% agree with you.
A decade. I mean, really since.
You're talking about a guy who doesn't even max out his. He's gotten so strong that he doesn't even max out his back squat anymore. You're talking about a guy who, as a kid, got popped too. He was popped in. Had to be 2009, 2011, somewhere around there.
Since 2015, we've been watching him do incredible things, certainly from 2016 onwards. So for him to now withdraw, he's not missed a World Championships in, 8 years. So this is very, very interesting. The second thing that we need to understand is there's a bit of a political shift going on, not just with his career potentially, but within Georgia. He has joined the Georgian parliament representing the Georgian Dream Team, who have gotten into office. So of course this then raises questions as to whether he wants to continue on in politics, where if you stay in politics, particularly as somebody as famous and influential as him within Georgia, I'm sure that the monetary payouts and the titles that you can gain significantly outweigh what you can get.
So he was banned in 2013, and then he came back in 2016 because he was banned from 2013 to 2016. Be curious to see what happens with him getting political too. That's very interesting. That part I didn't know. Surprisingly, nothing about his politics is on his Wikipedia page, as I see.
Financially from weightlifting for another few years, and that is certainly, he's a family man, he's got kids, that's going to be drawing his attention, and he's been doing weightlifting for so long. But there's that battle internally because, as I mentioned, he has made reference to the fact that he wants GOAT status, and the only way that he knows that he can solidify that is with this 4th gold medal at the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028. He's also mentioned again, by the way, over the last few days to us about this 500 kilo total. He still talks about it. As much as I have stopped referencing it, a lot of you in the comments I notice talk about it less and less. In fact, if anything, there's like this sense of snark at the idea that he might even go for it again, which I totally understand where that comes from, this mythical 500, but he does reference it. I almost feel as though, whether or not I believe he can now do it, the fact that we owe him so much in the sport and he still considers it in his mind removes it from the group of things we're allowed to poke fun at. Whilst he's still thinking about it and wanting to do it, I don't think we can make fun out of the idea that it's achievable or laugh at the fact that he may or may not be able to do it. Once he retires, or once he officially says that it's over, then I think we can talk about it. But yeah, he's got a decision here. He's at a crossroads. Let's also talk about how this impacts weightlifting. There's a bit of a milestone that he's missing here. As far as I can tell, no weightlifter has ever won 8 consecutive world championships. I've looked at, Alexiev, I've looked at Naeem, I've looked at Halil Mutlu, all of the big names who you think might have done it, Norb Chemansky, and I can't see it. There are athletes who've won 8, but not consecutive. It's worth mentioning that the first of which for Lasher was 2015, which he didn't win on the day. Of course, it was Alexei Lovchev who won it, but he then retroactively got that gold medal. He then won in 2017 Anaheim, 18, 19, 21, 22, 23. This would be the 8th. And then within that, you've got 3 Olympic Games and 7
he's not competing,
European
unfortunately.
Championships. I mean, the guy's been undefeated since 2015. So he's missing that opportunity to become the first to get 8th consecutive, but that's not the headline that's going to frame his career. It's going to be 3-time or 4-time Olympic gold medalist. It's not going to be 8-time consecutive world champs. And 7-time, I think, is just fine for him. So since 2015, he clearly obviously has redefined this super heavyweight category with his dominance. So there are going to be now new title contenders. Of course, with Lasher out of the picture in Bahrain, the door is open for Gor Manassian, who is now competing for Bahrain, and Razdat Lalian, who's competing for Armenia. Both have been on the podium behind Lasher for years. Gor was the first, and then Lalian joined a little bit later, more around that 2021 era at the Europeans. And then
this
the
is
Worlds.
Gor's year, baby. Let's go,
in
baby.
any other era really deserve to have been a world champion at this point. They are some of the best snatchers of all time. Gor is the 2nd heaviest snatcher of all time. Lalian now equals 3rd. So these guys are going to battle it out. I think we've got the crowd and the boost, potentially a financial boost for Gor in front of a home nation.
I've always had problems with weightlifting as a sport and weightlifting house the last few years. Do knees really completely heal? Well, tissue, I'm gonna say, I'm sure I have opinions that probably align with yours specifically when it comes to that. Nigel, I would have to say that it depends on how much damage is done. Well, I think that that's a conversation that, a lot of people have to reconcile with, right? We want to see big weights, but at the same time, we don't want to promote people like Clarence. We don't want. That has less to do with the doping and more about the nepotism in the politics of the IWF. Tissue, I don't know if you've ever seen the German documentary about doping. I highly suggest you do. Yeah, that's all political. That has very little about that is influenced by the doping. Because if it was about the doping, then track and field would be disappearing. No, not Icarus. It's that Icarus is about the cycling doping and that journalist, but there is a German documentary. Yeah, I mean it is all the same. There's a German documentary that was on YouTube. I think Gregor posted it.
Or in front of the country that he represents.
It was on Optimism. I don't know if it still is.
I would love to see 220. He was this close to getting it at the Olympic Games. Again, he's been close several times now. I would love to see it. But the fact that we get to see one of them hopefully stand at the top of the podium is going to be amazing. Will Lasher return? Of course, we don't know. Lasher has said that he is actually committed to training. He's hinting that he may not be done with the platform entirely. There are rumors about a European Championships coming up in Georgia maybe in the next few years. If there is, then there might be interest from him to be involved in that. There's also a rumor that he's going to take over as president of the
Track and Field is not
Federation, which I guess is almost
as much as
right in the middle of politics.
Something like Greco-Roman wrestling.
And the nice thing about that is it means that at least
and it's still a growing sport internationally.
We at Weightlifting House will still get to see him at all of these competitions over the next few years. So we don't know. Will he be at the European Championships in April? I have a feeling that he might be in Moldova. I have a feeling that he might be. I wonder if it won't.
I would have to disagree because, you know, we still see a big push on social media for sports like football, basketball. It's just that we don't have as much. There's just no money for it.
Sit with him right to retire, to not have officially retired on the platform. So his legacy is intact, of course, but his next steps, whether they're fully political or a mix, or it's just back to regular training, it's eagerly awaited by fans of the sport. I'm sure you'll all agree. Okay, let's move on to our next headline: Robu versus Nino. Also, it's worth saying you can sign up to our Weightlifting House newsletter. All of these stories we write about every.
Yeah, no, thank you. We're gonna move on.
I'll see if there's a specific link for you to sign up to. So just to set the scene, you will remember at the Paris Olympics, one of the biggest headlines was that Marin Robu lifted tremendously. Antonino Pizzolato, to his credit, also
sounding a little bit like a doomer.
More of an outlier performance from Robu. Robu went 5 for 5. He didn't take his final attempt in the snatch because he wasn't going to be able to make it, and he'd already pushed very high. And he's at an injury risk compared to most lifters.
Basketball's still growing in China. Football's growing much more in Canada and
hips, knees, ankles.
And
in the final lift of the competition, between their battle, Nino managed to make a lift and hold it overhead, which I think in probably certainly 9 out of 10, but maybe even more like 95 out of 100 competitions, maybe 99. This might be one of the only ones ever where he didn't get red lighted. What that meant was that Antonino Pizzolato ended up with the bronze medal. This caused uproar on social media. Robu didn't leave it alone.
I said basketball.
He kept posting about it. He was messaging me personally, who's messaging Weightlifting House. I'm sure he messaged a lot of other media outlets asking for them to talk about it more because he felt
he needs more state-sponsored
say like he was
weightlifting funding.
I think it's worth saying that Antonino Pizzolato did not rob Marin Robu. Nino did everything he could to compete. He did an amazing job. He fought until the final second, and what happens with the results is not down to him or Robu. It's down to the judging and the jury. This has nothing to do with Nino. He's a phenomenal competitor.
Is Nino competing?
And has done so much for the sport, and certainly more for the sport than Robu has done yet in his career. So this is not.
Why do you think that they're doing such a huge
Nino,
push for football in Germany?
Nino got the bronze, and social media was ablaze with frustration and anger. And
I'll take WWE if there's no Vince McMahon.
Whether Robu should suck it up or whether he should keep fighting, who knows? But it's worth remembering that a bronze medal to a country like Moldova is extremely important. So if there's any chance they can get it, they're going to try and get it. So let's talk about Robu's ongoing fight for redemption. So Moldova is challenging. They're going to back Marin Robu in this. So with the backing of the Moldovan government, they're going to be filing a lawsuit basically for the poor judgment that has allowed Antonino Pizzolato to earn the bronze medal at the Olympic Games. Moldova is going to be challenging a jury decision specifically. They're not challenging Nino, they're not challenging Italy, they're challenging a jury decision from the Paris Olympics that cost their weightlifter Marin Robu the bronze medal in the men's 89 kilo.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Category. So they're alleging that there's been a very blatant, obvious error in the judging. Moldova says that a mistake by the jury let another athlete, Antonino Pizzolato, move ahead of Robu in the rankings, unfairly taking away his bronze medal third place finish. So they're now going to take this case internationally. The Moldovan government will bring the case to the international sports bodies, including the Court of Arbitration for Sport in Switzerland. So they're really going for it. And
yeah, Undertaker was kind of the GOAT. I don't have enough insight into youth around the world to see sports in this modern era. Developed countries are likely skewing in different directions than the US and Europe. Well, US and Europe is kind of regressing in terms of politics, so I don't know what's going to happen there. Yeah, but Seb is also giving limelight to people to what the people want. It gets the people going.
They're putting in some
right. Was that Blaze of Glory, right? I'll do that.
Financial backing behind it. They're putting in 1.8 million lei, L-E-I, I think that's Moldovan currency, which it's around $100,000, 80,000 pounds, 90,000 euros. And they've set that aside. The Moldovan government has set that aside to cover legal fee costs for the appeal. I have no idea how much this would cost.
You should email Seb and let him know.
More than that, but they've shown that they're willing to put their money where their mouth is, essentially. So in terms of the formal complaint, the Moldovan Weightlifting Federation, along with the National Olympic Committee, has already appealed to.
My biggest problem with a lot of the younger generation is that they don't appreciate the older generation that came before them to step things up. And a lot of people look at Seb and think that he's like the know-all be-all of weightlifting. But truth be told is that, you know, he learned from somebody else, and nobody ever really, you know, talks about those people. Well, you know, again, some people don't like to get political. He seems to not be that person. He wants to be Switzerland. Well, that definitely. His media access is what gives him a lot of power, and without that specific media access, you know, who is Seb really besides a weightlifter that doesn't lift weights anymore? Exactly.
The International Weightlifting Federation to review the results.
You know what the issue is.
Correct the decision. I don't know personally how.
That being said, this is why I'm starting to create this channel and stuff like this, and trying to promote more weightlifting, the sport, not only to introduce it to other people, not only for the sole purpose of finding my own athletes and clients, but to just make sure that we still retain a little bit of that integrity that, you know, Bob Tucano used to teach us.
How that works. If they correct the decision, can they really take away a medal from an athlete? Maybe they can. Or will they just issue an additional bronze? I don't know. I mean, strange things have happened. I mean, you'll all remember the last Olympics in Tokyo, 2021, when the two high jumpers, also an Italian there, and the Qatar high jumper both won gold medals. So strange things like that can happen. There was a note here from Brian Oliver.
I just feel like he can be a part of the change and maybe start a renovation of the sport. Renovation or revolution? I'd rather have a revolution of the sport. Yeah, but he might have a voice, but he doesn't have the funding or the money, right? So he's getting paid to be the voice. He's getting paid to be the mouth. He's not necessarily getting paid to have an opinion.
Who of course is the premier sort of written journalist in weightlifting. He said, this is a quote, "To be clear, this is not a challenge by the Moldovan Weightlifting Federation. It's the state sports authority. Apparently, a refereeing/jury decision cannot be changed. It is not within the jurisdiction of the CAS. Instead, the procedure will come under scrutiny. Was the review carried out properly, etc." What we're saying there is they're looking into whether the IWF went through correctly the procedure of how to check.
When the IOC doesn't promote, you know, sexual abusers and domestic violence abusers and rapists in their sport, maybe we can have a better conversation when it comes to integrity. Yes, he has a lot of influence. I agree with you. Yeah, and for better or for worse, thank you, and I agree. Hopefully I can get to a point where I can go and have my own voice and control and influence, but even in this case, like, you know, I have my own different motivations to promote weightlifting the way I see fit.
whether or not it was a good lift. Did they spend long enough? This is my assumption. You know, he got 3 reds. They reviewed it. First of all, why did they review 3 reds? I don't know. But they did, despite there being no challenge card played yet. They went to play the challenge card, but the jury had already said, no, we're looking into this. And then they unanimously overturned it. How did they do that? I'm sure none of us would have looked at that lift and thought, hang on a second, you 3 professionals gave it reds, but no, I think that's a good lift. I don't think any of us would have done that. So did they
I'm gonna start doing more form checks. What I want to do is I want people to submit form checks.
Did they look at all those angles? Did they record which angles they looked at? But I guess that is what is being.
I'm gonna start giving away free form checks.
There's also a note here from Brian Oliver that the Jordan Chili's gymnastics case was all about procedure as well. I guess that's to say that this sort of challenge has been made before. It's more about.
So I mean, even with this channel, I'm still in a fuck around phase.
Results changing potentially. So that's what's going on here. Very interesting case. I'll keep you all updated. It might not make a Weightlifting House YouTube news show, but it will certainly be something that we'll talk about ongoing on the weekly Friday newsletter. So if you haven't signed up for that, do. And of course, head to weightliftinghouse.com right now. Head to Black Friday. Also, what do you?
No, thank you, Seb. I can live my life without that. Let's see what Tarakti has done. I mean, should we talk about Tarakti? Like, he's clearly juiced. Carlos is definitely juicing. Ooh. Yeah, that's actually something, like next week I won't be able to stream, but next week I'm going to start working on, like I started creating, I started working on Nightbot yesterday, and then, so like right now I'm also streaming on my YouTube page, and then I still need to work. I want to work on creating like a form submission page and somewhere for people to submit their videos. That I it can be all either anonymous or depending on who they are, like, you know. There was another video I wanted to watch. Ooh, this
For
is
a clean
cool.
you can feel good about, all you need is All Free Clear.
Ah, yeah, I could just do a Discord channel with that, huh? You know what? That's a fair point.
Don't pause, replay. Switch. Don't pause, press.
Torohti Media.
Oh, Maddie. Buck 60. Well, Tissue, I appreciate that. I do have a donations page set up. Alright. Thanks for hanging out, Nigel. Maybe I have to readjust my donation. Tarakti.
How does an Olympic gold medal?
So, let me do this real quick. I'm gonna play some random video. But, Tissue. Let me see if I can find that. See if I can find that video I was talking about. Actually, I was gonna play on this stream actually in a little bit. But what I need to figure out though is she's such a tiny human being. Ooh, I gotta rewatch this. I always told myself I was gonna rewatch this. Alright, after this, I'll play some StarCraft. Or Diablo. You choose. Why is it muted?
2021. I'm Nat Aram. I'm the founder of Hook Grip. I'm here with Tokyo Olympian. I don't know, should I say 2020, 2021?
I think they're going 2020, but
Okay.
I like 2021.
All right, 2021 Olympian Kate and I. We're here at the Hawaii training base, I guess I would call it. The U.S. team is kind of here preparing before they go to Tokyo. You're about 8 days out right now?
I think 9.
9 days out? It's tough to tell because we're kind of like ahead of Tokyo, but kind of behind.
Yeah.
So what we're doing here today is we're here to, I guess, kind of, I don't have a good name for this series yet, even though I plan on doing a lot of these, and this is the first one. But basically we're here to like review essentially every video that we've ever shot of Kate. We're not going to do photos, it would take too long and kind of irrelevant. But it turns out it's 16 meets, starting at the 2016 American Open, going all the way through a few weeks ago at the 2021 USA Weightlifting Nationals. We're not going to do our normal slow motion sort of videos. People have kind of seen that. For any of your good lifts, you know, we've put up the slow motion so people can go see those. What we're doing here is we're actually watching all 6 lifts from all 16 meets. We're going to try and do this fairly fast-paced. We're not going to go deep into training methodology. We're not going to go deep into things like, you know, injuries and recovery and this and that and blah, 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 all this stuff. Partly because we just don't have time for it. Partly because, as you said, wait, did you say 9?
Yeah.
9 days out. You're 9 days out from the Tokyo Olympics. We're trying to keep everything positive and just not too, you know, we're not trying to put any like negative, you know, vibes out there. So it's going to be, you know, just a positive experience. And basically, hopefully we'll do more of these in the future. And some of those will be kind of longer form, maybe, you know, even 1 or 2 hour sorts of things, maybe with Kate, you know, obviously with other athletes as well. So anyway, what we'll do is we'll kind of watch the videos. We'll be also splicing in the screen recording of the laptop and as well as the actual videos themselves. So the first meet, as I mentioned, is the 2016 AO. In the background, you can see that we have, and anyone can pause the video and look at these if we want. Oh, we're on the wrong spreadsheet. I was looking at it, I was like, wait a second. I was like, you snatched that much? I was like, oh crap. So anyway, now we're looking at Kate's results. You can see some of the American records, you can see some of the, you know, the world record, and you can see PRs and stuff like that. So we'll just start with the 2016 American Open. So this was the first time we ever shot Kate. Another thing to note, this isn't necessarily her first meet, and these 16 meets are obviously not all of her meets. I mean, we missed her first national meet, which was 2016 Youth Nationals, right? Mm-hmm. We've missed some other, you know, things along the way, but we basically have all the biggest lifts. We have all the biggest and best lifts and American records and stuff like that. And I think it's pretty clear that we probably have the best archive of media of anyone. Like, there's really no one that could even do maybe even a third of this. Yeah. So it'll be kind of cool. All right, so let's start with 2016 AO. A little bit loud. All right, so that was the first lift, 76, 79. So this was an American record.
Yeah, I was so little.
Yeah, you were little. You were very happy.
Look at that hair.
So this was your third attempt, another American record attempt. Came close.
Yeah. Landed flat on the booty.
So what do you remember from this?
Not a whole lot. I remember just being...
Were you nervous?
Not too much. I didn't really understand weightlifting enough to be nervous, I don't think. I wasn't too bought in yet.
Were you just kind of, I mean, you know, obviously you're setting an American record. Were you thinking like, oh, this is a fun hobby? Or were you thinking like, oh, I want to, you know, make, you know, junior teams, senior teams, Olympic teams? Or were you not at that level yet?
I don't think we were looking at really teams yet, but we definitely were going for these records and just kind of seeing where I could end up. you know?
So I don't remember exactly what the record was before this, but I know 105, this one was a record.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 102 was a clean and jerk record, and this got the total or something. Or no, this got the clean and jerk record, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, on the spreadsheet, I did note that this definitely was a clean and jerk and total record.
That belt was so big. That was a better jerk.
No,
good one.
Okay. So that was your first national meet. So did anything before your mindset before this and after this, did anything really change, or you don't really remember any details?
I feel like I remember feeling like I actually kind of belonged in weightlifting after this, kind of like readjusted my goals a little bit. I feel like after this is kind of when I started looking at teams, I want to say. And I think
so junior
the next
teams.
Junior nationals will kind of show that, I think.
Yeah.
Like we were going for numbers, I think, to try to make that Tokyo Junior Worlds, I believe, and we'll look at that.
Yeah, we'll go to that in a sec.
Yeah.
I guess the Tokyo thing was interesting because and you've kind of had different, I don't know if rivals is the right word, but you've definitely had kind of different people you were kind of competing against.
Yeah.
And in 2017, it was really just Maddie Myers.
Maddie Myers and Meredith were...
Yeah, Meredith. But Meredith wasn't...
is a monster.
She was a 63.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, she wasn't quite as... I mean, I don't know. I feel like Maddie Myers was like definitively ahead of you at the time.
Yeah, me and Meredith were kind of more close.
Yeah, you were close. So you were trying to catch Maddie at the time. All right, so this is the next meet. This was in Kansas City, as you can see.
What was that? My pull was so janky.
So this was meet number 2, so 82, 86. At the time, you're no longer a youth.
Yeah.
So you're now in the senior category. 89.
Ooh.
Alright, so this is your one and only bomb that we have on video, I think.
Oh wow.
Good reminder, dude.
Yeah, this was rough.
Was this the cut, or I mean, what were you doing in training at the time, if you remember any of that?
I feel like the training went okay. I remember like we really thought. I think I only had to make this opener to make the Tokyo team, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh really? So this was the Tokyo team here.
Water cuts. We didn't really do them at the time. I would just like eat less, so I wasn't eating a whole lot. Yeah, I did not belong in the 63 class. It just wasn't good for me.
Yeah, we'll
I was
see
way
that
too young
as
in the sport. It gets progressively worse.
Well, you really see it. I feel like the meet that kind of like broke it for you was the junior nationals the next year.
Yeah,
Was that was when you were like, that's it. I'm done with it. And I feel like you kind of got a taste of 69 in Anaheim at the AO.
Yeah, and I wanted it.
And then you were like, wait, I want to go back to that.
Yeah, why am I wasting my time with
We'll review that in a second. All right,
Okay.
so next one, I actually don't have memorized what's next, so I'm just hitting down. Okay, so this is 2017 Nationals. Hook grip socks.
Huh?
Hook grip socks.
Look at that.
Are those Russian wraps? I don't even know what wraps
Yeah, I
they are.
think they are. I think this is probably when you started sending me stuff.
Huh. So I was early
was
on sending you stuff.
My first national medal,
Oh, okay. You know, I didn't write down medals.
the 89. But I remember, like, at national championships, I got the bronze medal snatch, I believe. I want to say, like...
100. So you opened a little bit lower, I guess, because you weren't trying to make the junior team, and you just kind of probably wanted to get a good lift in.
Yeah. Jeez, my legs were so low.
4.
Yeah, I feel like I remember this being, like, a pretty decent meet, all in all. I don't know if I even had many goals besides, going to my first nationals.
I guess at this point, you weren't in line for, things like, senior world teams and stuff. It just wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah, kind of like that era for me, like just getting experience out there.
That's a small jump, 4 to 6. I guess you just thought that was what you could do that day.
I mean, yeah, as you can see, my core strength was non-existent. Jeez, my jerk was my good lift, wasn't it?
Let me just put this down real quick just to see what we're looking at. So basically, you're saying that this 89 was your first national medal?
Yes, I believe so.
So, I guess, and the 93 was an attempt at a junior record. I think that Maddie had the record at 92 at that point.
Yeah, and we'll see that more at the AO3, which I think is the next one.
Yeah, it's the next one. So AO3, And even though I didn't want to make this too long, but AO3 we we're kind of missing that battle with Maddie Myers here.
Yeah.
Because this was a real interesting battle, especially in the snatch, where like it was like, you would set a record, then she would set a record, then you would set a record. It's kind of like, I think there were like 4 American records in a row or something like that.
I think you posted a video of it, didn't you?
I did post a video. It's probably on YouTube if someone wants to, Google. At the time you were Vibert, so I wrote Vibert. So Kate Vibert, Maddie Myers. I think that video's out there somewhere. All right, so let's go to 2017 AO3.
Yeah, biggest opener.
Yeah, nice. I mean, this was, I think, obviously before this, I knew you were good and you were going to make junior teams, but I think this was the meet where I realized, like, oh, wait, she's going to be like a future senior team member. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you kind of take that leap where it's like, oh, well, she's not just a good, because there's good juniors and then there's good juniors who are not going to turn into good seniors.
Yeah. So obviously the snatch was my stronger.
Yeah, I mean, that 96, I mean, that was a big, and I think you never lost that American record, right? I think like that junior record was just there the whole time for the rest of it was only another year with the weight classes.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty big one.
So this was, I think, where you first started to realize, like, oh God, this is tough being a 63 and trying to clean and jerk. Because you were getting into weights, it's one thing to clean and jerk 100, 105, and it's another thing to get into like the 110, 115, 120 range as a 63. You start to realize, like, oh, you're maybe too tall for it.
You can like watch my waist getting smaller by the belt, like no joke. I kept gaining muscle, and that made the cut harder.
Yeah.
I thought I almost had that.
Yeah, I mean, you had the power to do it, but you just didn't have the stability. Really.
My core was just not there.
Let's see. So the next meet is the AO. So actually, this next meet was your first actual 69 meet. So this 69. And I don't know if you were full 69. I didn't write it down. But one thing I should note, so your third snatch was 98. This video is missing the 98. We actually do have it, but it's kind of complicated what happened with it. But anyway, so starting with 95, hook grip socks. So here's your 95 make.
That's pretty nice.
She sneaks underneath it. Look at Rob.
You do a little bit of like a wobble standing up sometimes, but you seem to you never like lose it during that wobble.
No. Look at how much better that clean was.
Yeah, no, it's not even close. Like you actually look like you are making the weight rather than praying you make the weight.
Probably was about 67 kilos if I had to guess. 66 maybe.
So were you thinking at this time, like, damn, I should have moved up earlier and been on the world team?
No, I feel like almost immediately, like, following 2017.
Was this the first time you tried 20? Or did you try it in training?
I feel like I've done, like, 21 maybe in training or something like that.
Okay.
I want to say. But, yeah, I feel like after this meet was when, like, oh my gosh, my clean and jerks didn't feel like I was going to pass out every single time. And like the opener didn't feel like a struggle. That made me really want to be a 69. But with Rogers up there, it was really hard to commit to that because like being the best.
Meredith did 25 here too.
Did she? I didn't know.
Meredith did 25 at this meet.
Did she beat me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, I guess maybe the two of them, you were thinking about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was much more daunting than like Myers, who was doing CrossFit and like whatever. Like it definitely seemed more attainable in the 63s, but my body said no, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So next meet is your last meet at 63.
Oh, really?
I think.
My final run.
So this is yeah.
So bad.
2018 Junior Nationals. This was in Spokane. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Harrison, is it Spokane? Spokane. Sorry. I think I knew that.
That was my one made snatch. No.
Yeah, 94. So this was an attempt at a record.
I remember being annoyed this entire competition. Like just
being 63?
Yeah, like the cut was so bad and I was so tired by the time I was warming up that I was just annoyed. Like I wanted it over with.
I could tell when I was watching this meet, like especially that, I still vividly remember watching these lifts thinking, yeah, there's no way she's staying here.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, you know, no matter what, it's just like she's just looking kind of wild in the clean and jerks.
Yeah, especially compared to the AO that was like, what, 2 months before?
Yeah. Yeah, I knew it was going to take you time. To be honest, I actually thought it was going to take you more time to get good in the, because like by the end of 2018, you're doing really, you know, you're doing like senior American records.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like, I thought it would take you more than a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually thought maybe you had moved up a little bit late to catch Maddie, but obviously I was wrong. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
I think you were trying to re-rack and just didn't know what you were doing or something. I don't know.
I just got wrecked by a re-rack. What is wrong with me?
Lots of people get wrecked by re-racks.
It's embarrassing. That was really bad.
All right, so the next meet is 2018 USA Nationals.
Okay.
And I believe, so this is your first 69 junior American record.
Okay.
And it's also your first junior American record total.
Cool. I don't remember this one. Maybe when I see it.
Yeah. This was Kansas City, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I remember this one.
This was where USA Weightlifting stopped printing on the banners. I'm not sure if you noticed, but in 2017 and stuff, it would say where it was in the background.
Oh, they don't do that anymore?
Now they just do like generic banners.
Huh.
And so it gets a little confusing sometimes.
Oh, I remember this lift.
So this was your first junior record in the 69s. So Maddie had this at 102 for like 2015. So this was probably where, you know, you probably were first like, okay, I'm coming for Maddie hard. You know what I mean? Even though you were still, at the time, like behind in the clean and jerk. But you were like right there in the snatch.
It's insane the difference between junior nationals and nationals here.
And so this was about 3 months difference, I want to say.
Yeah, like that weight cut like just destroyed me.
Yeah, this 24 looks great. Like you don't look like you're, you know, dying.
Oh yeah.
No,
I mean, it looks heavy, but it doesn't look like you're dying.
Yeah, the stability was huge for me.
So 28. I don't think you made, did you make this?
I don't.
I actually don't remember. I just looked at the sheet, but I already forgot.
Kind of still had Bambi legs, even though I went up. It took a while.
Well, it takes time to adjust to that. Oh, that's close. I was gonna say I didn't
know how to save things.
Yeah, you were still. I mean, another thing to remember is that you were, I mean, 2 years in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, you're not like, you know, 14 years in like some, you know, people who start when they're really young.
Mm-hmm.
So. Let's see, so next meet was 2018 Junior World. So this was actually your first international meet.
Yeah.
96.
I feel like I was really nervous for this, and then it definitely felt like validated once I finally got up on stage and felt like I had a good meet.
104. So this meet you were competing mainly against Sarah from Egypt.
Yep. Yeah.
So you're up to 17 opener. Which is crazy considering you know, where you were 6 months before.
Yeah.
So this was July.
So much more stable there.
On the background, but it's July 2018.
Yeah, I qualified for the 63 and the 69 spot, and that was kind of the final straw. Like I was pretty sure I was done with 63s.
It is United Lifter
sucks.
sucks.
Like Megan, our nutritionist,
Shout out to
Phil and
United
Mike
Lifters.
and Kiros. And we kind of just told them, we'll go wherever you guys want us to go, and they were like, if you guys don't go to 69, it'd be a mistake. So that's kind of what happened there. So yeah, that was a really big clean and jerk for me at the time.
45.
Yeah.
I think just because of just who you were dealing with. I don't know if you had the record. I think what was the clean and jerk junior American record at the time? I don't even remember.
I don't know, but Maddie Myers.
I want to say it was Jenny Arthur.
Was it?
I think it was Jenny Arthur with like 27.
Maddie Myers was just such a good clean and jerker that it felt like it took me a really long time to try to catch up with Myers.
Yeah, but at this point you're not even in her class anymore.
Oh, I have no idea then.
Well, she was 63. I think it was Jenny Arthur with 27. I actually remember that lift. I think it's 2012 AO now I think about it.
Wow.
So, all right, so 2018 AO. So this one was the one where, obviously, like I said, the 2018 Nationals was where, or 2017 AO3 was where I was like, wait, she's going to be a senior lifter. That's good. 2018 nationals was where I was like, okay, she's coming for Maddie at this point. And then, 2018 AO was like, okay, she pretty much caught Maddie. So now it's just a matter of like, I was like, this is going to be really interesting, because at this point, 2018 AO, we're into like, Olympic qualification, and it's going to be like, well, there's only one person per class, so what's going to happen?
Yeah,
right,
and I didn't make Worlds that year, so this was kind of like my equivalent to Worlds.
Yeah, and I guess the Worlds thing, I guess partly that was just Meredith and Maddie just making it ahead of you, but wasn't it also that didn't you have like an appendix that year?
I had an emergency appendectomy, and I had to miss AO3 because of that. So, I mean, it's hard to say like, oh, I would have made it, but I definitely would have been in the mix if I were to go to that last qualifier. So I had to sit at home and watch people bump me off the team, which is not fun, but it worked out.
Was it Hunter that bumped you? Or
Meredith.
Meredith. Oh yeah,
Meredith.
I guess Hunter
Maddie and Meredith took the 71s.
Okay. All right, so let's go to 2018 AO. So this was like, I mean, almost certainly your best meet so far.
Yeah.
You went 6 for 6, senior American record, junior American records, etc. So.
Yeah, this will go down as one of my favorite meets of all time.
So this was in Milwaukee, I believe. It doesn't say in the background. Remember,
I have no idea.
They stopped saying it. I'm pretty sure 2018 AO was in Milwaukee. So 104.
Just like the most confident I've ever felt. Like, I feel like my technique made good strides between Junior Worlds and this meet too.
So this is your first senior American record.
Yep. I remember it like yesterday.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I do remember this meet too. And
Not the
slip. I left it in on purpose, by the way. I could have trimmed that out. But I noticed it. I was like, I'm leaving that.
I forgot about that.
I do remember this meet too. And saying, I'm pretty sure 2018 AO was in Milwaukee. So 104.
Just like the most confident I've ever felt. Like, I feel like my technique made good strides between Junior Worlds and this meet too.
So this is your first senior American record.
Yep. I remember it like yesterday.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I do remember this meet too. And
Not the trim.
I left it in on purpose, by the way. I could have trimmed that out. I noticed it. I was like, I'm leaving that.
I forgot about that.
All right, so 23. And at this point is like where I feel like I'm seeing like modern Kate technique. Like in some of the 2017 stuff, it just doesn't even look like your technique as much. Whereas like now I'm seeing like, you kind of look like you kind of like lift the same way now, just heavier weights.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I was a 63, my technique was more of a product of my environment, not so much because that's how my technique should have been. It was just kind of how do I get to positions as easy as possible,
So this was a junior record. Or wait, this was junior record total, not clean and jerk.
Yeah, my clean and jerk took a while.
But this was big because you did a 237 total, and you're competing with Maddie, and at the time her totals in this class were 235, 238. That was like her best totals. So you pretty much reached her total. You weren't quite there with her clean and jerk yet, but you were like ahead of her snatch and right there with her total. So it was like, all right. This was when I realized that 2019 was going to get really interesting because
it did.
I knew before this that you were coming for the snatch. Like I knew, when I saw stuff like at Junior Worlds and at USAW Nationals and stuff like that, I knew the snatch was coming. I didn't quite realize that your clean and jerk was like going to get into the mid-high 30s in 2019. I mean, it's tough to predict that, but some people kind of like make progress and some people don't, but you did. All right, so 2019 Junior Nationals. So this was kind of a weird meet. This was like a combination with Pan Am Trials, but you were in like Junior Nationals, if you remember this. This was in Chicago.
Yeah.
And so I think that you might have been in the same session as Maddie at this one. So this was kind of like...
Yeah. She was, her and I think Meredith were both there, I think, even though they weren't juniors, so...
Yeah. So they were there competing for the Pan Am Trials. And obviously Pan Am Trials was like a really big deal because it was your chance to get in a gold meet. You know what I mean? And at the time, obviously, you were probably thinking like, I need this gold meet, like I need, points, because like.
Well, I needed it because I didn't go to Worlds.
Exactly.
If I didn't make it to Pan Ams, in total at Pan Ams, my Olympic run would have been over right then and there.
Exactly. So this was an important meet from that perspective.
Yeah, it was a good battle too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So this was an interesting start. So 4, then 5, nice and easy 5.
Yeah.
And then this was an improvement on your senior record.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this lift.
108.
I was actually looking at this one the other day.
So 26.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big opener.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a big opener. Was this like what would solidify you on the team? I don't even know. Like, I mean, obviously it depended on what they did in the session too.
It's hard to tell like what our thought process at the time was, because I feel like 37 was a pretty good total. Oh God. I think 37 was a pretty good total to fend Meredith off at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but I think, the goal was mostly to probably just beat out whatever Meredith and Maddie were doing at the time. Like maybe Maddie was opening at 30 or whatever, so we put on 31 just to try to hang with the big dogs at the time.
Yeah. So let's jump into your real, I mean, obviously the AO, 2018 AO was a real breakout meet, but this was like the real breakout where you were like, everyone was like, oh, wow, wait, what just happened? All right, so this is Guatemala. The 104 opener.
I felt really nervous.
Just because of the gold points thing?
Like I just knew I had to make it count. And I just felt like a lot of people didn't think that I could do it, and I felt like I wanted to really prove myself. Yeah, like at the time that was crazy. Yeah, I think that's my favorite snatch, even over my 112.
Yeah.
Just because it was such a big deal,
All right, so 28.
Yeah, another pretty big opener.
I remember I wasn't at this meet. I had to go to another meet, but I had someone there, obviously taking the videos and photos and stuff. And I remember watching from afar and just being like, what in the world? Because I kind of expected, somewhere close to this, but it was like you kind of exceeded my expectations by a few kilos in the clean and jerk. I was kind of expecting, 31, but I wasn't expecting 35.
I feel like you can see changes in my body at this point too. Like this is when I'm finally filling out, and my legs and glutes are starting to look not so, twiggy anymore.
Well, you had to grow into the class.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like this is kind of finally where that happened.
I almost feel like that's where you're at now with 76, because you really didn't fill out 76 in in basically in the last couple of years, but you're kind of reaching that point now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm a pretty good 76 now, even leaned out a bit.
All right, so next one was 2019 Junior Worlds. So this was Fiji, so your hair changed color. They had terrible lights in this meet. It was really frustrating for me. There was no way to make the videos really look that good. I tried all sorts of different settings. All right, so 8 miss. The 8 didn't look good, but the 9 looked smooth.
Yeah, I do that sometimes.
It's weird, because the 8 looked like you had no business snatching 8, and then you snatch 9, no problem.
Yeah. I feel like we have to remember too, this is my 3rd international meet ever.
Yeah, you weren't,
A lot was riding on this too, because I still had to get another gold event in. And if I was going to make the Olympic team, it was kind of going to be because of my advantage as a junior, right?
And so this was second period, though.
Yep. Yeah. So this was a solid second period total.
33.
I also feel like this kind of solidified my mentality that I was
So this is your PR clean and jerk.
Yeah.
As of now.
Yeah.
It's not for long.
Not for long. That's right. Yeah. I finally felt like I belonged after this meet, I think. Because, anyone can have one crazy good performance, but...
This actually makes you the lightest American to ever clean and jerk 300 pounds. I remember we talked about that after the meet.
Yeah.
Remember that? And I was like, wait, is that 300 pounds? And you're like, yeah, it is. I'm like, oh, you're right.
That's sweet. Yeah.
All right. So then we have Pan Am Games. So this was actually your first meet at 76, even though I don't think you were a full 76. You just had to be because there is no 71 at the games.
Yeah, absolutely not. I was very light.
So here's
I don't
4.
think I've ever seen these before.
Yeah, you haven't seen these videos.
It's a cool angle though.
Nice easy 8.
Pretty good
This
one.
was, when I saw these, I was like, you really should have made this 12.
Yeah.
Because of how easy those were. And like, it was just a little bit in front, but you did it so easy, like you were there.
Yeah. I think like that being like a junior world record really got in my head at the time. Oh, it would have been unofficial.
Well, because you were
at Pan Am
76.
Games?
And that was a 71 record.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just
Yeah. But I think that you were preparing to hit that 12
Is
later.
that my opener?
Yeah, you missed your opener, I think. At
I remember
33.
feeling super lightheaded at this meet for some reason.
So 35. So this, I think you got the bronze medal here. And by the way, I should mention, you've actually never gone to an international meet and not medaled.
Yeah, that's a cool stat. I like that.
Stat. Even at a bomb out that I didn't cover, you still got, I think, the gold in the snatch.
Yes, yes.
That's a great stat.
40.
I don't even remember this. So you can tell I'm like swaying a little bit.
You look really shaky here. I've never seen you look quite this shaky in a jerk.
I mean, yeah.
All right, so skipping forward, then we have the Worlds. So now we're coming into like, your last couple meets, so we're almost done here. But, so this is, obviously at this point you're, Pan Am champion, Junior World champion, so now you're kind of going for Senior World champion, which is a big accomplishment. I think no one other than Sarah had won Senior Worlds and Sarah did it at a meet where I think 9 countries were missing, which of course is still impressive.
Yeah. Big day.
Yeah.
And I cut into 71 for this actually.
I remember talking with you before. Didn't you guys go to Japan before this and you were talking to me about or you were posting stories, which one am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I knew you were going 71 though, obviously. But that 112, we should mention, that was a junior world record.
Yeah.
That's a pretty significant, obviously, junior and senior American record too, but junior world records are pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So this was 1 kilo under your clean and jerk record.
The question was do we go on to 76 and full send it, getting ready for the Olympics? Because at this point it was becoming pretty clear. I feel like I was going to make the Olympics even before Worlds. We just wanted to know how hard we wanted to, gain a lead.
I felt like there was still a minor chance if you had a terrible meet and Maddie had a great meet here that she could have overtaken you, but it seemed like very remote. I agree with you at that point. All right, so now that's the second time you'd put a green plate on the bar. Yeah. Right? So
much closer though, I will add.
It was close. You didn't look like you were dying. And it's also worth noting that it's, Pan Am Games, you were not 71 and you look like you were dying. Here, that actually was pretty close.
Yeah.
That wasn't a something at Pan Am Games. The way I looked at it was all right, you're you had no shot at that jerk after you're shaking like that. You know what I mean? Whereas at Worlds, I was like, she could have made that.
Yeah, Pan Am Games, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if I was a little sick or what. I don't remember being sick, but I remember just feeling super lightheaded. I don't know if it was the more of the production of Pan Am Games or what, but I was just all over the place. Not really mentally, just physically wasn't really there, clearly, so.
Yeah. And then, so coming into 2021, these are your 2021 meets, which are obviously lower, but we should note you were coming off of some injuries, and actually you can see if you look at the two of these that you're kind of rounding into form. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You actually look a lot better. Well, you'll see. But this one, it clearly looked like you were just rusty. You just hadn't, lifted in a meet in a while and, this and that. And obviously you had switched coaches and everything. So, that just looked rusty. Well, you had the power there. You look at how easily you make it. You know what I mean?
No, it's it was a rough couple months leading into this, and besides the 2 lifts I missed, we kind of came what we set out to do. We weren't even really fighting for a specific medal or anything like that. Just doing the Olympic qualification thing.
Yeah, at this point you thought you had to go. Then they changed the rules and said you didn't have to go.
We probably, I don't even know if we would have gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
that's
no
a Spencer question, but it's
well, maybe just for just getting back into doing competitions, it would have been a point. But what was interesting is this 35 doesn't really look great. But then if you go to your 35, that was just like, you know, so this is 105, by the way. That blue plate is like a tracking plate.
Yeah.
You know, you can see how much better your 35 looks here.
Yeah.
And another thing to note is that, I mean, you posted like a week or two before this, you snatched 114.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
So
we didn't peak for nationals and like not, I definitely could have done that 10, you know, it just kind of goofed on it. So yeah, we didn't peak for this or anything, but just kind of tried to get back into those normal numbers. Just to kind of ramp up into Tokyo. So clean and jerks felt much better.
But this 35 to me looked just like really solid.
Yeah.
Compared to the other one, which obviously you didn't stand up, but so it's a little tough to tell. But like to me, this looked solid.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen my 40 attempt here.
And here, so this is the third time you've put a green on.
Yeah, positionally. I mean, it's nothing to do with strength. I even said right after, if I were to catch it, I would have cleaned it and jerked it. I know that's like totally what if, but yeah, I'm excited to, you know, push it again because I'm feeling better now. So
yeah, so we will wrap this up here. We've already gone a bit longer than I anticipated, a little bit over half an hour. But thank you for coming on. Good luck in Tokyo.
Thank you.
And I will be watching from afar.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. So now I'm gonna go for a small break. Turn on some music for y'all, and we'll use the restroom, and then I'll be back for some gaming.